The EPA. They just proposed the most aggressive climate regulations to date. The EPA's new proposed emission limits could require as much as 67% of all new vehicles sold in the United States to be all electric by 2032. Yahoo Finance's Rick Newman has the details on this one. Rick, what do we know so far?
Hi, guys. So this is a proposal. It's not a final rule yet, but they want to turn it into a final rule within a couple of months. Would really dramatically change the rules for pollution that's allowed from cars. So they're not mandating that automakers switch over to electric vehicles, but by really tightening up the pollution limits from cars, they're essentially forcing the adoption of electric vehicles. And they say, as you pointed out, Brad, the EPA estimates that if these rules go into effect as they are proposing them, that by 2032, about 2/3 of all new cars sold would be fully electric cars. It's less than 6% today. So that would probably be the most dramatic reshaping of the auto industry in its more than 100-year history. Now, I think there's going to be some pushback to this proposed rule from within the auto industry. I think they're going to say that's just too much change too fast. There are going to be some consumer critics who say, you're going to have a lot of unintended consequences here. You're probably going to push prices up for one thing. This could actually threaten the viability of some of the automakers that just happen to be behind on electric vehicle technology. So I don't think it's going to go into effect exactly as we're seeing today. But clearly, the Biden administration is pushing really hard to get auto emissions down and make that a huge contribution to getting carbon out of the air.
Rick, so you said this is a proposal, right? It might not go into effect that way. Like, what happens now? What's the process?
It's a standard part of the regulatory process, Julie. So it's open for comment. And what that means is that they've published this proposal and they've said, here is the rule we want to enact. And this is all regulatory. This is not something that Congress is doing by passing a new law. So a lot of people in the industry, there's going to be tons of comment. I'm sure there's already all kinds of lobbying going on behind the scenes. The auto industry probably had a pretty good idea this was coming. The auto industry is not saying this is a terrible idea. We stand in opposition to it. I think what they're very likely to say, though, is it's just too much too fast. And, it's going to be too disruptive to change the technology this fast. I mean, we're talking about changing. You can't just change out a few parts on an automotive assembly line and turn it from producing gas-powered cars into electric cars. I mean, you have to either build new assembly lines or build entirely new factories. I mean, we're talking about billions, many billions of dollars it takes to do this. All of these trends are underway, but I think you're going to hear the auto industry saying, look, we're already going in this direction. Some of the automakers have even said they plan to make only electric vehicles by 2035 or 2040. But it makes a lot of difference how fast you get there.
All right, Yahoo Finance's own Rick Newman tracking all things surrounding this EV push here. Rick, appreciate it.